Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Julie Newmar, Part 2. Batman, the popular superhero character from comic books, was given his own live-action television show. It was a pretty big deal because, in 1966, superhero TV shows hadn't been done all that much. The most notable superhero TV show up until then was Adventures of Superman in the 1950s. People were excited to see how this show was going to be done, and it created quite a renaissance for the Batman character. Batman was definitely its own kind of TV show, whether you like it or not. Although there have been countless imitations, nothing has ever been done exactly like it. It was corny, cornier than it should have been, but it was colorful, and there was always something to look at. Whether it was the goofy sight gags, silly-looking villains, or the ridiculously hot women. Julie Newmar, more than any other woman who appeared on the show, became the signature female character. I'm also very partial to Yvonne Craig as Batgirl, but she came along in Season 3. Julie was in the show early, and helped make it popular. As a comic book character, Catwoman had been around since 1940. However, she had been neglected in comics for a lot of years prior to this show, and she was never done in live action before. Batman and Robin had previously appeared in 2 movie serials. The comics dropped Catwoman in 1954 because she, along with many female characters in comic books at the time, were being deemed too provocative. When the TV show came along in 1966, Catwoman was given new life in the form of Julie Newmar. TV, at that time, was pushing boundaries anyway, and even comics were starting to ease up on restrictions. The strange fact is that the comic book character had been inspired by actress Hedy Lamarr. However, when Julie Newmar came along, she gave the character such personality that it changed how she acted in the comic books, cartoons, and other live-action portrayals that followed. There has been, and always will be, at least a little Hedy Lamarr in every version of Catwoman, but Julie Newmar established the sexuality of the character. Julie played Catwoman in the first and second seasons of the show, from 1966 to 1967. She was in 2 episodes late in Season 1, and in 11 episodes of Season 2. From the start, Julie's Catwoman was a hit. It made the character popular enough that she was brought back into comics in 1966, and has been a solid fixture of the Batman franchise ever since. There are a lot of reasons people like Julie's Catwoman. The skin-tight lycra costume, for sure, is an incentive. It was Julie's idea to move Catwoman's belt from her waist to her hips so she could better show off her hourglass figure. Since Julie was a career dancer, she could move like a cat, giving that literal quality to her portrayal. The purring bit was also quite sexy. I think what people like best about Catwoman is that she was never a villain in the truest sense. She did bad things for sure, but she had limits, and there was potential for her to be redeemed. Catwoman didn't really want to hurt Batman. She would rather sleep with him. Even the youngest child watching that show would understand the dynamic being presented. It wasn't subtle. Although Julie is the best-known Catwoman, she wasn't the only one the series had. Between the first and second season of the show, there was a theatrical film released called, appropriately enough, Batman. In that movie, Catwoman was played by Lee Merriweather, another actress I really like. I thought Lee did a very good job as the character. It wasn't exactly like Julie Newmar, but it was definitely acceptable. But why wasn't Julie in the movie? Various rumors have floated around over the years, with the main one being that she had other commitments at the time. Julie herself would later say in 2004 that she had a back injury at the time and couldn't do it. But she came back for season 2 and was shown quite a bit more in 11 episodes. This was Catwoman's high time. By the time season 2 came along, I think more people were watching the show for Catwoman than any of the other crazy villains. She and Batman were like a will they or won't they couple. Then, as popular as Julie had become with Catwoman, it was all over. Why? She left the series to do a Western movie called McKenna's Gold. It was perceived to be a better opportunity. In retrospect, she was probably better where she was at. The movie was not released until early 1969, after the Batman series had been canceled. It was a high-profile Western with many big-name stars, the top star being Gregory Peck. Julie played Heshke, an Apache woman who was the femme fatale of the picture. She had sort of a love-hate relationship with McKenna, played by Gregory Peck. Ultimately, she gets killed by Inga, the heroine of the picture and McKenna's lover. The success of McKenna's Gold is peculiar. It was a box office failure in North America, but it was a hit in many other countries and ultimately turned a profit. It also featured Burgess Meredith, who played the Penguin in the Batman series. While Julie was making this movie, Catwoman was recast with Eartha Kitt. Eartha played Catwoman in just 4 episodes of the 3rd and final season. She was the first black actress to play Catwoman and, at the time, got some notoriety because of it. Eartha's version, to me, just isn't as good as Julie's or Lee's. It has nothing to do with her being black. Eartha's Catwoman is just an entirely different acting character. She's a bit scarier, and more of a villain. There have been a lot of theories over the years that Eartha's Catwoman was straight up a different character than Julie's and Lee's Catwomen. Whatever the case, the charm of Catwoman was gone, in my opinion. Julie's Catwoman and Batman had a neat back and forth that wasn't used with Eartha's Catwoman. While Batman was originally on TV and running hot, Julie made memorable guest appearances in a lot of popular TV shows. In 1966, she played a Swedish girl in an episode of the Beverly Hillbillies. Classic stuff. Also that year, she was in an episode of F Troop as Yellowbird, a white girl who was raised by Indians. Very funny. In 1967, she was in The Monkees and Star Trek. In 1968 and 69, she was in Get Smart and It Takes a Thief. Throughout the 1970s, she made memorable appearances in many TV shows. In 1971, she was in an episode of Bewitched. That was just a natural fit. I'm surprised she wasn't in the show before that. In 1973, she played an ill-fated character in the Columbo TV movie Double Shock. I was actually surprised and a little upset when her character got killed. She wasn't the first victim of the story, so you didn't expect it. Her character was maybe a little foolish, but essentially harmless. Definitely hippie-like. She didn't need to get killed off. Julie kept quite busy with more TV and film roles in the 1980s. However, by 1985, most of her TV work stopped, and by 1990, most of her film work stopped. She has acted infrequently ever since. Since 1990, when Julie does appear in a movie or TV show, it's always an event and well received. She was in both Oblivion movies, which were space westerns, and popular with B-movie buffs. Most significantly, she was in a cameo for a movie that was named after her. In 1995, there was an odd sort of comedy movie called Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. It was about 3 drag queens on a road trip. The title comes from an autographed photo. The movie did okay, but it didn't make a ton of money. It got attention because it was a mainstream picture about drag queens, something that was unusual at the time. But a lot of people just didn't like it. It had to be flattering for Julie, though, to have an entire movie named after her, even though she just appeared in it for a little bit. That's a true sign of lasting popularity. In later years, Julie began reprising her Catwoman character a number of times. The first was in 1998, on a TV show called Maggie. Although this sitcom only lasted for one season on Lifetime and is largely forgotten, it is notable for Julie's return as the Catwoman character, the first time she had done it in over 30 years. In 2003, she was in the TV movie Return to the Batcave: The Misadventures of Adam and Bert. It aired on CBS, and if you thought the Batman TV series was corny, wait until you see this. It's a fake biographical film about the making of the series that really serves as a reunion special while presenting a whole new adventure. Julie plays herself in the movie, but based on her Catwoman fame. In 2010, Julie lent her voice to the Batman cartoon, Batman the Brave and the Bold, but not as Catwoman or herself. Instead, she did the voice of Batman's late mother, Martha Wayne. In 2016 and 2017, though, she returned as Catwoman in a big way, voicing the character in 2 animated Batman movies based on the classic TV version of Batman. The animation in these movies is quite good, and the characters really look like their TV counterparts. This cartoon version of Catwoman is a very good likeness to Julie's live-action portrayal. The movies were called Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders and Batman vs. Two-Face. Batman vs. Two-Face, at this time, is her last acting credit. It's fitting that she played the character people love her for so much one last time. In her personal life, Julie had a number of romances, but only one marriage. Her husband was a lawyer by the name of J. Holt Smith, and they were married from 1977 to 84. Through this marriage, she had her only child, a son named John. He was born with Down syndrome and a hearing impairment. What a lot of people may not know is that she is a classically trained pianist. She also invented new pantyhose and brassiere products, for which she holds 2 U.S. patents. In the 1980s, she started investing in real estate and has been credited with improving some Los Angeles neighborhoods. Julie Newmar was a fun actress who earned her praise and worked rather hard for it. She was tall, leggy, and uncontrollably sexy no matter what she did. In one way, these attributes limited her to playing certain types of characters. In another way, it made her a unique actress who wasn't easy to copy. No one else can do what she did exactly the way she did it. Above all else, I think she really enjoyed every character she played, and she never phoned anything in. Being good looking, into what she's doing, and proud of it, ranks her high on my list of Babe of the Day, Babe of the Day.